Today's book, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I'm going to talk about the book, and I'm going to talk about the movie, and how I think they relate, what I thought about them, and I'm actually going to bring up Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore, which I've already reviewed, so I'm going to link somewhere for you. I don't know yet. So, Ready Player One by Robert Cline. This book has been on my list for a while. I actually didn't know about it until the movie came out, which sometimes it makes me feel bad. I don't know why it actually makes me feel bad. Like, I feel all vindicated because I knew about the Expanse series before it came out on Sci-Fi or then Prime now. I knew about that. So, like, I actually feel a little bummed that my books say, hey, you know, this is now made into a TV series because I knew about it before then. But, you know, does it actually matter? It doesn't actually matter. And I should enjoy what I want to read. You should enjoy what you want to read. It just doesn't matter. So, Ready Player One. This is a first-person account of what happened kind of in the book. There will be spoilers. And the general thing, what happens is that there's a virtual world. There's been, you know, post-apocalypse stuff. Virtual world, that's where most people really do a lot of their stuff. And the creator is eccentric, and when he dies, says there's a whole contest and you can control the virtual world. So Wade Watts Parzival, he is the hero. It's told in first person like him. And this is actually where I want to talk about the movie too. So right in the beginning of the book, Parzival, Wade Watts says, this is a, you know, there's been documentaries, there's been biographies, there's been all this other stuff, but here's what really happened. And so as I looked at that, I thought, hey, like, basically the movie is one of these documentaries. And is it accurate? I don't know. You know, maybe not. It's not quite accurate, right? So in the movie, what's their name? Dang it. So in the movie, so in the book, Wade Watts goes in and breaks into like the high security computer prison place. And he doesn't in the movie. It's someone else. What's her name now? Well, you know, I'll put a title down here when I figure that out later. All right. There's some other stuff like that, right? One of the main five heroes, the top five actually in this book, literally gets thrown out a window in the real world. That's how they literally kill this person. The crazy inventor's friend is a little Ogden Morrow. So he's a little more helpful. He basically just shows up at the end of the movie. Doesn't do anything. In this one, he's like, hey, we're near the end. Like, come use my rigs to like win this battle. I can't help you, but here, we use my rigs to win the battle. So what I think, honestly, as I was reading the book, I was not loving parts of it. And I felt very similar about Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore. And near the end of it, I think I figured out why. Actually, talking to my friend John. Hey, John, if you watch this. I think I figured out why. So John and I spent 30 minutes talking about this book and other books. But I think I figured out why. It's because it's in first person. I honestly can think of nothing else I've read that's written in first person. Except for this and Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore. That's the only two books that I can think of that I've read that are in first person. So it felt weird. So even with Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore, I read it. Put it back here. You kind of see it back here. I read it and I was unsure about it, and then I realized at the end I loved it. I finished it and I was like, oh, I feel satisfied with the story. It was good, but I wasn't a big fan in the middle. And I think it comes down to purely the first person narrative, and that felt weird to me. It just felt weird. So Ready Player One I liked. It was a good book. I enjoy the narrative. I enjoy the pop culture references. I enjoy that the movie updated some of them. So you'll see characters, like video game characters in the movie that did not exist when the book was written, so you don't hear about them in the book. I enjoyed it was references to Midworld out of Stephen King. There was like literary references and lots of other references, and I like that. I like that because I'm also working on a fiction idea. It's called Sarah, tentatively around here. We call it Sarah with my daughter, where it's I also called it the library at the end of the world or something like that, because it's a library in a small town, and they find out it's actually like an interdimensional library. So like we can have literary characters show up, right? My daughter's talking about like, could Hermione Granger come? And it's like, sure, why not? Right? Or how like the spirit owl from Avatar: The Last Airbender, the spirit library will be a part of it at some point. Some of these will be mentioned in passing. Some will be more. Right? The founding of the internet out of innovators, which I read by Walter Isaacson, like that will probably be in there as well. Right? That's how the idea is that even like the world is a data core, and when the internet is coming to humanity, they go like, oh, and they realize it. So like on that standpoint, it gave me a lot of ideas on how to integrate those concepts, how I want to bring in those stories to my story eventually. I would love to be able to put a good crack at it in whatever the thing is in November, National Novel Writing Month. National Novel Writing Month. I've got some ideas. I've got kind of the beginning of that story down. So I liked that as well. Like I will be buying a copy of this book for myself, which you can't really see over my shoulder, but maybe we can move it. There you go. I'll be buying a copy of this for myself just for reference so that I can go back to it. So I can see the pop culture references. And if you know other stories that have pop culture references like this, or like how they're threading in like characters from other stories, even Stephen King does that in his, not Hitchhiker's Guide. Well, so The Kala is one of the books. It's the Gunslinger series. He does this in the later Gunslinger series, right? He brings in Carrie. He brings in a bunch of his other characters from other books into his story and shows them through, right? Calvin Tower has books with like different characters in it. Like they read about themselves sometimes. So as there's in that version, there's like one main Earth, and that's like the Earth, and all the others you can like go back and forth in time, but that one you have to like stay only going forward in time. Anyway, so if there's other books like that that bring in something like that idea, I'd love to know about them. So as Ready Player One, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the pop culture references. I enjoyed the movie. It was great. I will own the movie already. I will be putting that on my list at the Bookman in Chilliwack so that I can get a copy for myself, because it was a good book. And I can see myself rereading it, not just for research, but rereading it because I enjoyed the story. That's it. If you enjoyed the review, you can give me a thumbs up below. If you loved it, then you subscribe. Don't hit the bell. Go read. Go do something else. You don't want notifications, because you should be going and doing your own stuff. Thanks for watching.